Hi, and welcome to today's episode of Thursdays at 3, or maybe today's 3:05. I'm sorry, I'm having technical difficulties, but today we're going to make a pumpkin crunch cake that looks delicious in the photo, delicious in the video that I pulled up, and I hope you'll enjoy. So, of course, we're going to need a can of pumpkin to get started. So we're going to add some liquid ingredients. It's kind of in the technically considered the dump cake category. So we're gonna dump those ingredients in there, put a little box cake mix over the top, sprinkle it with something, put it in the oven, and then we're gonna wrap it up with some homemade whipped cream. So welcome, and I hope you enjoy. Let's see if I can turn this around. Oh, we're gonna have to do some fancy, okay, hold on, technical difficulties. There we go. Sorry, I have to look at my finger for a minute. There we go. Here we are. Back at it. So we're gonna go ahead and start with our 15-ounce can of pumpkin puree. And I am using the Pampered Chef kids set today because it's adorable, and everybody starts thinking about what can I get my kids for Christmas and how can I involve them in some cooking so they can go on to be productive citizens when they get older and cook themselves. Unless they can just do Uber Eats or pick up meals all the time. It's a good thing to be able to teach your kids how to measure and everything. So we're gonna start with some pumpkin. We're gonna add in a 12-ounce can of evaporated milk. And this was so funny, I had to use it. I could absolutely use the can opener, but does this not take you back to like 1980 something when you had to open the can of Hawaiian Punch? So that just cracked me up. And I know with milk, it is nice if you can poke a hole on the other side. So we need a 12-ounce can of evaporated milk. Hawaiian Punch, 1985 maybe? Who knows when Hawaiian Punch was started. We're gonna add our 4 eggs. And this is why a dump cake is a great idea. You're not gonna need it to look beautiful. You're just gonna want it to taste good when you take it to the next holiday party you get invited to. Or if you're hosting Thanksgiving, this just needs to be refrigerated. It doesn't have to come out hot, and again, it doesn't have to look pretty, which is so nice. And then 1/2 cup of sugar. And I don't know if you know, if you've popped on the Pampered Chef website lately, but these are all this is the kid set, and these are the measuring cups that go with it. This one's gonna be for liquid. We're gonna do that in just a little bit, but aren't these so cute and so colorful? So we're gonna add 1/2 cup, very easy to read for little kids, and then super easy to use. 1/2 cup of sugar. My high-tech storage unit, also known as a Ziploc bag, for my brown sugar. Two teaspoons vanilla. Oh my gosh, I was in the store the other day and they had a gigantic bottle of vanilla, probably almost as large as this huge thing of maple syrup that I bought, right? And the vanilla, it was like $28, and I was so tempted because I thought, oh, how much vanilla do I go through in a typical baking season? And I wouldn't have to buy vanilla again, and I know there are people out there that could tell me, hey, you could make your own, but at this point in my life, I would just rather buy it. So we got our, ooh, and then our favorite. If you have not invested in your bottle of pumpkin spice, you need to, because you'll use it so much. Here we go. So we need 1 tablespoon. I'm gonna have to quickly wipe out my vanilla. And you know what? Unlike cumin or cayenne pepper or red pepper, if you put a little extra pumpkin spice in there, don't sweat it, darling, it'll be fine. And a teaspoon of salt, which I prefer to do over the sink, because if you put too much salt in there, that is not going to taste good. So here we are. I hope you can see. It's not that difficult. These aren't tough things to be able to mix together, but I would highly recommend that you mix the egg yolks, really break them and mix those guys around. And this is not going to be a thick mixture that you're going to have to spread and do all of that in the pan. You'll see it's going to be pretty liquidy, but that's what's supposed to happen because it makes the bottom of the cake, and it's very pumpkin pie-ish tasting. So So see, super easy. That took what, 2 minutes? All you basically have to do is measure. It's not hard to do at all. Voila. I think even the most basic baker, cook, even if you're not feeling very confident about your abilities, I think you could still do it. Here's an oldie but a goodie, my Pampered Chef 9x13 rectangular baker. I'd love to know if you have one and if you've been using it. I'm gonna do the naughty thing and I'm gonna spray this because I usually tell people don't, there's some extra filler in there, but I want this recipe to turn out well. So I'm gonna go ahead and spray my stone a little bit. And keep in mind that this pumpkin doesn't have any flour in it. It's all sugar, pumpkin, vanilla, salt, stuff like that. So that's what makes the base. So when this comes out, you let it cool, and then it's best if it's chilled for a couple hours or even overnight. So if you want to make this a day or two before Thanksgiving, please do, because that'll be great. You can keep it chilled and then wait until the end. I'm going to show you guys what we get to do. So then we're going to go with just a regular yellow cake mix. It can be any kind of cake mix that you want. I just have the bag opened. I think you've got a good view. Let me get you in view. Oh, there we go. That's perfect. And we are just going to sprinkle the cake mix on top of there. I'm not very good at these dump cakes. I've not done them before, but let me tell you, this was the easiest thing that I read, and I was like, you know what? I think I can do this. I didn't have great expectations that I had to decorate it in any fancy way, and that's what I'm talking about. So I get a little heavy-handed. I'm just going to use a fork to spread that. And then the directions specifically say, use your hands to pat down the batter gently. And I can see why, because you want it to blend in just a little bit with that pumpkin. So just a little bit, not a ton, but isn't that crazy that that powder cake mix is going to stay up on top there? So we've got our wonderfulness. Right now you should be on the hunt for pecans and walnuts that are on sale at Publix. They often come up buy one get one free this time of year. And that's such a deal because I think this bag of pecans not on sale is like $5 or $6. And going into December, if you're thinking ahead, I'm going to do a class either in person or on my cooking show where I'm going to teach you how to make the candied, or what people call Bavarian nuts. My mom loves those. I gave her jars and jars of them last year, homemade, and they're a lot less expensive if you do that. And I'd be glad to share that with you. So if you want to comment like, hey, let me know when you do the nuts, the spice nuts or the Bavarian nuts, then I'll be sure to send you a note like, hey, that show's coming up on such and such a date. Or if you want to come and do it in person, you can do that. Okay, so I just spread that out. Now, this is where those of you who are super healthy eaters, you may have a heart attack, but this is 2 sticks of butter. And all I did was melt it in the microwave. It was like, I think a minute. I probably overdid it, but I don't care. So a little bit of the milk protein separated. I'm just stirring it back in. That's all. You really don't have to if you didn't super melt yours like I did. And this is the really tough part. I don't know if you can do it. I think you can. We're just going to drizzle butter on here. This is as hard as it gets. And then this whole cake goes in the oven. And this is why this is a great idea for you to do maybe Monday, Tuesday, something like that. Not the day before, the day of Thanksgiving, because it'll be too much on you. But a couple days before, you put it in the oven. It takes about an hour total to bake because it's so dense at the bottom. So it takes about an hour. And then once it's finished, let me think about this. Let me see if I can rephrase that. It takes roughly 40 minutes for it to bake. And then you check it just to make sure that your oven isn't too hot and you've like totally browned the top, because at the 40-minute mark, if you look and you have a greater heat bouncing off the top of your oven, then you're gonna wanna put tin foil over it so that you stop the heavy heat from coming down. If you just bake it 40 minutes, it still looks like it's a really light color. I baked the other one that I made in the middle of the oven, no problem. You go another 20 minutes, and I love the spring test, and so I kind of like will jiggle the middle rack, and does the cake move a lot, because you can't always trust a toothpick. I mean, you think you can, but you can't always. So I will touch it with my finger, or I will shake it just to see, you know, is it too jiggly. So this one's going to go into the oven, and then we're going to work on a little surprise for you. So let me just pop this in the oven. I'll be right back. So this time of year, we're having a lot of pie, we're eating different desserts, and wouldn't you like to have some fresh, homemade whipped cream? Well, I'm about to show you how to do that in about 30 seconds. I did not do arm exercises today, but I'm getting ready to for you. So let's go ahead and turn the camera back to what we're gonna make here on the counter, and that would be homemade whipped cream. And the really cool part is this recipe for the whipped cream is just a basic recipe. But you can also do cocoa, you can do almond. I think we did a brandy version one time. The way the whipped cream maker is designed, you just look for the little line right here. I want to say it's about a cup. So we're going to add heavy whipping cream. And what I've learned living in Florida is the colder you can get the whipping cream, just like if you were to whip this up yourself, the better off you'll be. Let's see. It's like an extra tablespoon, no big deal. So we need powdered sugar right in front of me. So the colder you can get it, the easier it is to froth up and do what you want it to do. The powdered sugar, it's up to you. If you want to do a tablespoon, a teaspoon, you know, it kind of depends on what you're used to as far as your cream. And then we just need a teaspoon of vanilla. Here we go. So now this would be a great thing to make either just the night before and let sit in the fridge, or before you leave for those Thanksgiving festivities. So on the bottom, I didn't want you to think this is some magical thing. This is actually a rubber gripper for the counter, or you can put it, once I make the whipped cream, I can put that on there for storage. So here goes. Are we ready? Oh, I gotta stretch out. Here we go. So it should take about 30 seconds. Let me look at my watch. And in that 30 seconds, we'll have fresh cream. I think I already mentioned lots of different flavors. I think there are 6 on the recipe sheet that I can post. Oh my gosh. So the harder it is to pump up and down, the better the whipped cream as far as thickness goes. I think we're almost there. Holy cow, that was only like 25 seconds. Told you, the colder the whipped cream. So I can see that it's still just a little bit liquidy, but I can also tell it's getting tough to do. Here we go. And there's no harm in taking the lid off and checking. I didn't want you to think that we broke it or we did something. How risky is this that I'm doing this live, huh? Hey, Jessica Joy. You gonna make yourself some fresh whipped cream for Thanksgiving this year? All right, where's my, oh, I used my, nope, there it is. Holy cow. Whew. Yep. All right, well, I am in Florida. If this were next week and it is going to be in the 40s overnight, I have no problem, but we live in the land of humidity. The good part is we can't screw this up, so I'll just keep going. Like I said, I hadn't done my arm exercises today, so now I'm doing them. This just shows you that you can be pampered and not perfect. Holy cow. Dun, 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 dun. Well, let's go for the 4th time. Anybody want to show up and do the plunger for just a little while? Maybe we can get Mr. Goodell to pop out here. Let's see. Yay! All right, so Florida humidity. Not our friend, but you see how it sticks in there? Now imagine if we had put a little almond extract in there. I bet you that would have been delicioso. All right, we are almost there. Just double checking, because I want it to be this beautiful, nice plop on top of our dessert. And are you guys ready for a little bit of movie magic? Oh yeah, look at that. So you know what? Maybe you got yourself a whipped cream maker and it didn't turn out in the first 30 seconds like you thought it was gonna be. You know what? We live in Florida. This is how it is sometimes. And that was just, as a reminder, heavy whipping cream. Had to find the box. Heavy whipping cream, a little bit of powdered sugar, and a little bit of vanilla. And now I'm ready for the movie magic. I really love that we already have this beautiful piece of pumpkin crunch cake ready to go. And we're just gonna hit it with a dollop of fresh cream. Happy Thanksgiving, early to me, I guess. So thank you guys for joining me for Thursdays at 3. I hope that you will give this a try because it really is delicious. I don't know if you can see the different layers that are built in there. That's a little bit of the pumpkin, that's a little bit of the cake on top, and then look at that beautiful fresh cream. I mean, if you wanted to, and you were serving it to guests, and you really wanted to amp it up and, you know, really kind of show off, you could do something like this. There we go. Oh yeah. I think my baking just went up a notch. Don't sign me up for any, you know, TV show, but look at that. So anyway, thanks for stopping by today, whether you're watching live or you're watching later. I'll post the link to this recipe. It was super easy. Yes, truth be told, I made it last night, so someone's gonna benefit from my cake, and then today too. So thank you guys, and we'll see you next week. We're gonna be talking all about turkey, which, turkey, sometimes it doesn't cook all the way, and sometimes it doesn't come out hot. All those things we're gonna talk about next week, and we may even be bringing back the wreath, braid, and ring. So you'll have to tune in. But thanks, and you have a great day.